Hello, everyone. Did you know that science, metaphysics, and spirituality can come all together whenever they're talking about the different dimensions? It is such an fascinating concept. And one of the concept that you could talk about all year long. You may not be able to understand a lot of the science behind it, but my goodness, there's so much information about the different dimensions. I'm only going to cover just a small amount about the dimensions, and we're going to look at it from a spiritual point of view. Because with channeling, many times you wonder where the entities that you're channeling, what dimension they come from. And many times we may not know the answer, but you can kind of figure it out through learning and doing research about the different dimensions. Because many times it's not really important where they come from, as long as you're getting the divine information and it's a higher good. But we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about those different dimensions. And if you are channeling, it is pretty important to understand the different dimensions. So here we go. So the third dimension you already know. So this is where we are, physical reality. And it's a dimension of space-time and where we experience being in a human form. We've got height, weight, and depth of defined objects. We're governed by physical laws, especially like gravity, and human experience is live through the five senses. So we have to feel things, we have to see things, we have to taste things. You got to hear things auditorily and smell things. So it is so fascinating how nature puts us all together and how we have all of these senses. All right, so let's go on to the fourth dimension. This is whenever you're adding time to it. Adds element of time to the spatial dimensions of the third dimension. Allows for perception of the past, present, and future. It often referred to as the same time-space continuum, which is so fascinating. And you find a lot of movies and shows over this concept. And time is perceived linearly. So then let's go to the fifth dimension. This is the higher consciousness. So it transcends this linear time and physical space. Okay. Thoughts and intentions can be influenced in reality more directly. Access to higher wisdom, intuition, and spiritual insights, and possible connection with the parallel realities and timelines. So this is so fascinating. This is where quantum physics are coming in. And again, this whole thing we could talk about for a whole year. All right, moving on up. So I was really fascinated also because a lot of people channel, what we call aliens. I don't know if I like that term. I like the term, a star person from a different galaxy, because I guess I grew up thinking aliens was kind of a foreign thing and kind of a scary thing. And it doesn't have to be so, because there are so many spiritual beings that live in different star galaxies. So this is really important information to know. So aliens are, spiritual beings from the fifth dimension or higher are often described as having advanced consciousness and abilities. They may communicate telepathically, manipulate energy, or exist in forms that are not bound by physical limitations. These beings are sometimes associated with spiritual or interdimensional entities, often referred to in channeling and mediumship. So it's higher dimension, so it's from fifth dimension on up. So this is where Sarah comes from. And the reason why I say this is because she walked among Jesus. She's almost like the female version of Jesus, because she worked with him and he allowed her to minister at the campfires where he did all of the healings and taught her how to heal and everything. So it's almost because she worked so closely with him. She is found on the sixth dimension with the ascended masters. So this reality is called the blueprint reality. And this is the realm where the patterns and blueprints with physical reality exist. It contains the archetype templates for all forms and structures in the third dimension. And thoughts and forms are more fluid and can be altered more easily. And of course, this is the home for the ascended masters. So the seventh dimension is the cosmic consciousness and unity and oneness with the cosmos. I love it. Individuals experience a sense of interconnectedness with all of life. The barrier between individual consciousness and universal consciousness dissolves, and a place of pure creative potential and manifestation. Now, as I'll go through all these dimensions, it is possible through quantum physics, all of the information there, that somebody who is able to tune into these different dimensions can actually travel there through their consciousness. So it is possible, even though that the human body cannot see it on Earth, it is possible for our consciousness to go with these different levels. So the eighth dimension is the divine mind. Represents the divine mind or the mind of God. All ideas, concepts, and possibilities exist simultaneously, and access to the Akashic records containing all knowledge of past, present, and future found here, and often associated with infinite wisdom and understanding. So I know many, many people who are able to channel in here to go to the Akashic records to find information for their client. So the ninth dimension is the universal principles. It's a dimension of universal laws and principles, governs the structure and function of all dimensions below it. Principles of the karma, balance, and divine order are prominent, and it represents the underlying order and the logic of the universe. So we have two more dimensions to talk about. So the 10th dimension is the source consciousness. This is the realm of pure, unmanifested potential beyond all forms, structures, and laws, the source of all creation and existence, and unity with the divine source of God. And the 11th dimension, this is the last one that we're actually going to talk about, is a multiversal reality. It encompasses all possibilities, realities, and universes. Infinite possibilities and potentialities exist simultaneous. So there's no linear time like what we're used to. Beyond human comprehension, often described in terms of theoretic physics and metaphysics, and the ultimate level of existence where all dimensions converge. So to me, it's really hard for our human mind to actually wrap around these things. And I think this is just, again, it is so fascinating of how much information that we have and how much truth, the spiritual truth is out there, and spiritual knowledge. And a lot of times people do not look at metaphysics because of their belief system growing up. And so they may not be able to actually get this information. They may not be ready for this information, and that is okay. I think this is why I love science fiction. And I always bring up the fact, okay, so I grew up watching the old Star Trek, okay, the old one, the original one. And they had Captain Kirk and crew had the communication device where they would flip it open. Okay, and that became the flip phone. So a lot of our science fiction movies are either channeled, to get the information from an entity that knows about the future, and it engraves, it starts the human evolution towards that invention, if that makes any sense. So people are getting this information. It's like teleporting to different places. Again, that was on Star Trek. And of course, that communication flip phone is now our wonderful phone that we have. But I still remember the flip phones too. So, and I do love the superhero movies because they do talk about the different multiverses. And to me, again, that's more so fascinating. but it just keeps going on and on and on because there's so many different ways or different threads that timelines can make. And I know that Interstellar, I found fascinating too, that the main character was able to go through a consciousness to see his daughter and to a certain level. So it's all fascinating. All right, I will get off of this topic now. You can tell I'm really excited about it. I could talk about this all day. So I hope that you learned about the different levels that we have and how metaphysics, science, and spirituality can come all together and give us information about these different dimensions. And if you are channeling, it is fascinating to see what dimension that you're actually connecting into to be able to get the information that you are receiving. Again, anything is possible. The divine has created all of these blueprints, all of this creation where we have come from. And it's just amazing how things can intertwine and change and just so fascinating. And that's where our creativity comes from. And yes, logic has an important role to play in it too. So I wish you much love today and get out there and learn as much as you can through different text. And it does take a while because there's so much information, metaphysics information, but it does open those doors up to your spiritual knowledge. All right, everybody, I will see you. See you soon and see you next time. Bye. Nope. Goodbye.